as far as gun control, are things getting better the way we're doing it, or is it getting worse? Because the numbers are saying way worse.
Well, let me give you
and
some,
then also with the numbers, now, depending the way you look at the stats, guns are the #1 thing that kills children now. It used to be car wrecks. Guns, if you include 17-year-olds, now more kids die by guns than anything else.
Let me give you
suicide, all that stuff.
Yeah, I want to give you some stats on that because we're going to take heat. So I want to just, and this is something from, I listened to a guy who's very informed on this. I think his name is Charlie Kirk. And here's the interesting thing about gun control that people should know. #1, we're the only country in the world that includes suicides, okay? If you take suicides out of that equation, okay?
You're just talking about murders, crime?
Yeah, and so I think it was last year. Let's take the stats for last year. You have roughly 8,000 gun deaths. 80% of those gun deaths, 80%. So of the 8,000, about 700 are actually accidental discharges. Okay, all right, about discharges. Okay, they're accidental discharges. So now you got about 7,000 of those. Of that 7,000 and change, 80% of the deaths, of the gun deaths, are inner city gang on gang violence with handguns. That leaves about 2,000 homicides done, which includes mass shooters.
Okay.
Of the mass shooting, about, I think it's 3 to 4% are actually they use a rifle.
Okay.
So it's very interesting to see these actual, when you break these stats down, it's really interesting
Still a
to
problem.
say that. Of course it's a problem.
When fourth graders getting shot.
But when you say 45,000 deaths, it's actually about 2,000 homicides, and obviously nobody wants this.
But then also,
something's wrong. But wait,
you
really
can paint
quickly.
that statistic, but also to say, well, let's take suicide out. Well, no, that's a huge issue. That's killing a lot of people.
Well, so now we're dealing with what? We're dealing with a mental illness thing. And these shooters, that Buffalo shooter and that fucking this kid, they were showing signs of major mental illness.
Hold on.
The Parkland shooter, major signs.
Yeah, but
the FBI was alerted twice to this kid.
For sure.
And ignored.
The Buffalo shooter would be a case to me, would be monitoring freedom of speech and having this misinformation, him being, compromised through a group.
So it's not freedom of speech when you're making direct threats.
Not freedom of speech.
When you're making direct threats of killing
I'm sorry,
people.
on censoring information.
Yeah.
That's where that argument comes from, with that kid.
Well, the kid showed up, I believe, at school, and I have to check this. I think it was him who showed up at school for a week in a complete hazmat suit.
Correct.
Wouldn't take it off.
That's correct.
Now, the students and the teachers were like, this kid is crazy. This kid, something is very wrong with this kid, and they were all afraid of him. He would make really weird faces. There were signs along the way that this kid was so mentally ill, he was going to do something insane. Now, why is it that a kid this unhinged was able to buy fucking 2 AR-15s or whatever on his birthday? Now we got a problem.
And the ammo, but then
guns
also
in general. Forget AR just means Armor Light. Thank you guys for educating me. Armor Light, which is a company that makes M4s and M16s.
Yep. But also that kid, showed signs on social media, was able to find a group to compromise him and make him extreme.
You're always going to find a group.
Well, it's going to be easier to find a group online.
If you like eating poo, you can find your group on fucking line.
Yeah, they found
for everyone.
Oh, they found me on there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what? I'm not in this. I don't want to in this group.
Huh?
Crazy. What?
What'd you eat for breakfast?
Wait, what?
Accidentally got here.